My name is Chrystal Evans-Hurst, and I'm here all about giving you practical encouragement to live your moments well, like for real, how to do the thing. So beyond philosophy and general goodness and encouragement, I want to teach you how to. Because y'all, right now, we're in a season where we just need to know how to do the thing. And today, I want to talk to Allie about what it looks like to utilize this season well to invest in you. Before we get going, if you want to make sure that the people you know and love know about this live and they get the information so they don't miss it, this is what I typically do for bonus content. And what I mean by bonus content is extra stuff beyond my blog and my podcast and me speaking. And so the extra stuff goes into this fun place called the Inner Circle. And that is where girls who listen to the podcast but want to know about the after the show conversation that I had with the guest, or special downloads or freemiums or stuff like this. This content that I'm putting up live every day will live finally in the Inner Circle library. But because we are all in need of a little bit of help right now, I wanted to make sure that everybody had an opportunity to get practical help for all the stuff that we're facing right now. If you are in need of community, I want to encourage you to check out the Facebook group for the Sister Circle. That is on Facebook, and you can find it by going to crystalevanshurst.com/Facebook group. And every time we have these conversations, we jump into the Facebook group and we say, let's keep the conversation going. Because I'm not the only person, and as much as I love Allie, and as great as I think she is, she's not the only person who has all the answers. The reality is that we girls, when we show up and we help each other and share what we know, what we've learned, the questions we have, the tips that we've been able to garner over the years, when we bring that together, when we bring the best of what we know together, we're just better together. And so the whole point of that Facebook group is to say, listen, girls, this is what we talked about today. Tell us what you know. And then we're helping each other in that group. So that's for community. So without further ado, Allie, thanks for bearing through with all the introductory stuff. But Allie, here's the reason why I invited Allie on, and I've told her this. In our 5-hour dinner conversation, okay, I got a chance to hear more about her story because I'm looking at Allie, I'm thinking she's rocking it, and she is, and I'm looking at all the things she's doing, and I'm looking at all the things she knows, all the things she's built, all the people that she's helped. And I asked her, so what qualifies you to be a business coach? So the answer I thought I was looking for was that she had worked for a Fortune 500 company for 10 years, that she had been a project manager, or that she had built and sold 5 businesses before she got to this point where she wanted to coach other people. I was expecting her to tell me that somebody else told her one day, girl, you've had such great experience building things and helping people and raising multi-million-dollar scenarios and teaching. I mean, that's what I thought she was going to tell me. And y'all, when she backed me all the way up, she said, basically there was, and I'll let her tell you her story, but there was a crisis in her life. And she looked at herself in the mirror and said, self, you're going to have to figure this out. Like, you're going to have to make some money, and you're going to have to figure out how to do that in a way that works for your lifestyle. Because y'all, Allie has 5, count them, not children, but boys.
True.
She has 5 boys. They're not grown. So don't think, oh, well, Allie can do that because her kids are grown. No, her kids are at home. And I realized that, man, right now, we're all in a little bit of a crisis. What I want Allie to talk to you about is how to use this opportunity to wake you up and go, wait a minute, I got to do some stuff differently. And I want her to charge you up about the power you have to change the narrative of your story. And this crisis being the impetus, the thing, the switch that flips on in your head that says, girl, you can do something different. Okay, so Allie, that was like my big old introduction. I'll let you take it from here.
No, you're right. Back in 2008, in the middle of the recession beginning, I had my 5th son. He was 4 weeks old. We had been in a place where I was a stay-home mom. I was blogging, I was playing on the internet, I was playing on Twitter. And what happened was my husband had lost his job. We were waiting to find a new job. Before we know it, we hear that we're trying to sell our house, of course. There's a short sale for our house. So we get ready, we move out. We realize last minute, short sale is not going through. I am packing up, moving out of our house with a 4-week-old baby, and we realized this house is going into foreclosure. We've lost our home. We're going to have to file bankruptcy. Savings are done. And we're moving with our 5 boys into my grandfather's house in East Tennessee. We were living in Nashville, where we're back now. We lost everything except what fit into 2 storage pod units, those portable pod units that come, you know, you put them in your yard. I have a picture looking out of, you know, this beautiful home where these 2 pod units are out the window, and I realized everything we own is gone except what fits in there. The fancy stuff was gone. We kept the kids' toys because we knew when this crisis was over, which all crises will be over. It's important to remember today, this will be over. They're going to need their stuff. And we spent the summer living with my grandfather, with my husband and I, driving. He didn't have cell coverage where he lives. He lives out in the middle of nowhere. We would drive to the McDonald's Playland every day, and my husband would apply for jobs everywhere in the country. Apply, and I would use that free Wi-Fi with an old broken laptop that I had with a bunch of missing keys, and I would Google, how do you start a business? And the kids would play in the playland, and the baby was on, you know, one side of me and the laptop on another, and we'd save our pennies and buy French fries and ice cream cones so we wouldn't get kicked out.
I mean, you had to eat the fries.
I mean, it's just the right thing to do in that situation. Sadness needs fries.
Yes.
And I learned in that season that with God and Google, we really are unstoppable. Because with God leading us and Googling for answers for what we need to do step by step, we have a plan. We have a God in heaven who will lead us. And then we have so many free resources for how to go ahead and do it. Because that was my wake-up call, that no matter what happened with my husband's job in the future, it was time for me to step up. I wanted to make sure we weren't ever in this situation again. And as everything has unfolded in the past week or two, I've realized there's going to be a whole new generation of women, a whole new wave of women going, okay, I never had to do anything before, but it's my time to step up. We've got to do this. We've got to do this for our families, for ourselves, for the community around us, because so much of our lives before are getting disrupted. And there's great power in being able to kind of pull yourselves up by bootstraps and pray and go, Lord, what do you have for me? What do you want me to do right now? Lead me and help me figure out what's my next step, because he will. It won't be, I always want Jesus to float down in the room and tell me really clearly, like, here you go, Allie, here's what you need to do. It won't be immediate, but as we get going, because we can steer a ship, but that ship has to leave the harbor before it gets steered. If we get going, he will tell us where to go and what to do. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Which is great, because I mean, you know, we always assume, this is what I've found to be true about me and other people. We always assume that if they're able to do something that we're not doing, that they have something we don't have. And before we ever get started, we disqualify ourselves from the opportunity to grow, the opportunity to change, because we assume that if they could do it, it's got to be because they have some secret. They have some, you know.
It's a secret, or it's connections,
Yes.
or money. That's what we
I was going to say, they're a trust fund baby. You know,
Yeah.
their parents gave them, you know, a $30,000 start, you know, all this. I mean, and if we assume that they have something we don't have, then we won't try.
Yeah.
So when I was listening to you share your story with me, I just thought, oh my gosh, like, women need to understand they can change the narrative of their story, their income story, their career story, their sustenance story, without having anything to start with other than, like you said, God and Google. This is great.
Because it's enough.
So for the girl who's sitting there and going, okay, yeah, I know I need to, I've had this, there's two women with 2 stories that's probably watching today. One is the girl who's like, I actually know that I want to do something different, but I have no idea what, and I don't even know how to get going, because I don't even know what direction I would be headed if I started moving forward. The second woman is the one who has had this idea in the back of her head for as long as she can remember. It's been 15 years since she wrote it down in a journal, and she's just never done anything with it, you know. For those two women, they have two stories. One of those women is, whether she knows or doesn't, she's in a situation where she's inert. She's just got to get going. And right now she has the bandwidth to get going, but she hasn't. Or she's single with no kids, or she's an empty nester. So there's not a lot of vying for her time in her day, but she hasn't. She just is just inert. The other woman is inert for a reason. She's still working from home, or she has to go out right now. Or she's working or not working, but she's also balancing the demands of her kids. Like right now she's watching, and she's got, a 3-year-old crawling into the bed who's like blocking the camera, and she's like, shh, because I'm trying to hear. Or she's praying to God that she let the kids stay up late enough last night so that they will leave her alone while she watches this. So a woman who knows or who doesn't know, and a woman who's inert just because she is, or because there's a lot of stuff that's kind of in the way of getting going, or that's how she feels. So I know that you have dealt with all kinds of women with all kinds of situations. But in either case, I want you to speak towards the knowing and the not knowing. Let's start there.
Here's the thing you need to know when you are first starting, going, okay, it's time for me to start a business. It's time for me to start making money online. Because literally what drove me was it's time to make money online.
Yeah, got to do it.
Practical. We got to pay the bills. The mortgage keeps going. The rent keeps going. So the first thing you need to know is there are 3 good online business models you can use. There is products. You can make digital products. You can make physical products. If you're just starting out, you don't want physical products until you have some money to put behind physical products. So if you're just starting out, go with digital products. The other category that's a good business model is services. Whatever you can do, use your knowledge, use your brain, use your gifts and talents to provide for other people. Services are great. They're super low cost. Third thing is affiliates. That means if you already have a big audience, if, say, you've been blogging forever about how you do makeup tutorials or how you teach your kids, you can partner with companies to start promoting products, and then you get a small bit of that income for those sales. The problem with affiliates is affiliates only works if you have a big old audience. So I wouldn't advise anyone be like, I'm just going to build a big audience and then do affiliate revenue right now, because it takes a while. So the 2 smartest things right now that are low cost and easy to do would be digital products and services. That's the first place to start. If you're listening now and you're that woman who's like, I've known for 15 years that I'm supposed to build custom furniture, great. Hold on to that. Don't start it right now. We're just being real practical, because we have to look around to go, okay, here's where the world is. Here's what we can afford. Don't go try to rent a warehouse and build furniture right now. Save that dream, honor that dream, but see what you can do that's really practical in the meantime. I mean, it's important to look around and go, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later, to look around and go, okay, what's the most profitable idea? Because most of us have a lot of ideas. Most of us are like, well, I could do this, but I kind of want to do this, and I want to do this too. All that's good. Hold on to it. It's just important to be wise and go, okay, here's what I need to do right now.
Yeah.
The second thing that's important to do is look at your unique expertise. Say you are a stay-home mom and or you've been a teacher. Say you're a stay-home mom who has been homeschooling her kids and you're brilliant at it. Or you're a teacher and you know how to teach kids. Well, you're home. Why not offer a service where you can say, hey, nobody can teach 5th grade math like me. I'm going to be $25 for 30 minutes. Here you go. We'll get on a Zoom call with your kid can send me their work. Get on a Zoom call for 25 minutes a week or 30 minutes a week, and I will help your kid do 5th grade math. I would pay for that, so I don't punch myself in the nose trying to teach my kid 5th grade math, because I can't teach my kids school. So you want to go, okay, what's my unique expertise that I can monetize right now? That's going to be really, really important. Whatever you're good at, whatever comes easy to you, and what women do, men don't do this. What women do is we look at the things that come easy to us that we're really good at, and we go, oh, everybody can do that because it's so easy. Men don't do that. Men are good at something, and then they're like, have you heard I'm the most amazing person in the world at tying a tie, right? Whereas a woman could be like, well, I did, build a car from scratch, but everybody can do that. Like, that's what we do as women. So really think about what are the things that people say, oh, you know, Chrystal is the best at X, Y, and Z, where it comes easy to you. You don't give yourself any credit. What are your go-to things that people have commented on, that people rely on you for? What are the things that are really easy? Because you may think, for instance, well, fifth grade math is easy. Everybody can teach their kid fifth grade math. I can't. Once the kids are in fourth grade, I'm done. I run companies, but don't ask me to teach fourth grade work, not math. They ask me questions. I say, go to your father.
Go to your father. Or in
Yeah.
my case, I tell my pre-calculus kid that you help
Mm-mm.
your fifth grade brother with that. I'm not doing that today.
Yeah, for real. So you want to identify the business model that works right now. You want to, like I said, still honor the dreams that God's put in your heart for things that just might not be the right time right now. You want to look at your unique expertise. And then the third thing you want to do, which is really, really important, and this is what people sometimes tend to forget, is you want to identify the problem that your offering will solve. Because sometimes we want to create a business, we want to create a side hustle and bring in some income because we're passionate about something. And it's important to be passionate about it. But if it doesn't actually solve a problem, nobody cares.
Right.
This is this is not the time in this economy right now with everything going on. Like, you probably don't want to start a business about something super, super fluffy that doesn't have any meaning. Like, you don't want to start a business about how to meditate and find the meaning of the world, right? None of this audience is going to do it because we love Jesus, but we gotta focus on things that aren't fluffy. We got to focus on things that matter to people right now. When you think about the person you want to serve, the woman or the man that's going to be your customer, that target market person, you want to go, what's the problem that when they wake up in the morning, they're like, I got to do something about such and such. Um, Maybe you want to do things in the future that are a little bit fluffier. When people have extra money, you can do more fluffy things. But in a season like this, you got to find a business model where people are waking up in the morning going, I really need to figure out how to do a great workout at home. I need to figure out how to teach my kids. I need to figure out how to start a business, whatever it is, and go, is this something that people wake up in the morning and go, I got to figure out how to do it. Like, if you're passionate and you want to teach people how to give a manicure to their pets, I bet you in this business, in this climate, people are going to buy it because you know what? They're stuck home with their
They're
pets.
stuck home with their pets.
I mean, seriously. So, and that
Oh,
moves into the fourth thing is, we've kind of been talking about it. You got to look at what's going on in the world. You got to look at the economy and sit down with all your ideas and go, okay, this is the most profitable business idea right now. It's a really, because we love our ideas. We love our ideas. But if we don't sit back and really critique them and look at them in the environment we're in and the world we're in, we're going to miss out on opportunity. Sometimes you just got to have a business going that's going to make you some money, but it's not your favorite idea.
oh, wait,
So you
wait,
got to
wait.
go, okay,
You got to say
what?
that again. Because
Sometimes you got to just start the business that's going to make you some money. And then later you can do the fluffy stuff. Because sometimes we just need to put food on the table and keep the roof over our heads. This is the time for that.
I think it's important to know that the business you do to meet your need and the needs of others can seed the business that you want to do later.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
important, important,
And
important.
we all go through different seasons and different times. There's sometimes, well, I have to do this. Sometimes I want to do this. We're in a season right now where we have to do things, but later when things get easier, because this is going to resolve, this is not the end of the world. God has put callings on women's hearts to do things in the future. He's not sitting up in heaven going, well, I wanted her to do such and such, but I guess I can't now because the coronavirus has wiped it all away. He's not surprised by this.
Yeah.
All the dreams he's put in our hearts and the things that he's built us for and that we're going to do in the future, they're going to happen. But this is just a time where we're going through some stuff. But he's not surprised by this. He's in control.
Listen, it's so, so, so good. Okay, so people, though, get stuck with getting going. Like, I'm looking at some of the
Yeah.
questions as they come up, and a lot of them have to do with, taking the first step, whether that be figuring out, even with the questions that you gave, what's the business that, like, they get stuck with that. Or technology is a big one. They have
Yeah.
an idea. It's even something that they feel confident about doing. They may even already sell it in the physical realm. But when you start to have to move that thing digital, they're just stuck. Even in an age where, yes, God and Google work, it's overwhelming to some people, to get those things going themselves. And so speak to that spirit of stuck. Like, I want to,
Yeah.
I need to, I feel like I should, I know I'm capable, but there's the don't know where to start, even with the ideas, or I got the ideas, but man, this technology is going to get me.
Well, I'll tell you, one thing that does hold women back in general, again, men tend to not have this problem as much as women, is we want everything to look good. We want it to be perfect. We want to feel like we know what we're doing before we take the first step. That is a killer right now. You're going to feel scared. You're going to feel unqualified. You're going to feel nervous. You're going to feel super vulnerable. That's fine. That is not an indication from the Lord that you're not supposed to be doing what you're doing. That means that you're human and you're stepping out of your comfort zone.
And I think that that's so important to know that the feeling of discomfort is a part of the process of moving forward. Okay, let me
100%.
just ask this question now. What's the difference between discomfort from moving forward and your inner don't do that? You know what I mean? Like the discomfort because there is danger here, or this
Yeah.
isn't wise, or the Holy Spirit is trying to stop you, or your inner mojo is like, this is not your thing. Like there is sometimes a discomfort because you're out of your lane.
Oh, I'll tell you, when I get out of my lane, God's very clear to let me know. And sometimes I'll say, "Hey, Lord, I'm going to do this, but if you don't want me to do it, can you make it clear?" And unfortunately, he always makes it clear. So generally when things are hard and we're like, "This is terrible. I can't do this. I don't feel good. I thought it was a good idea." That's us. But when we're praying, when we're talking to the Lord, He's going to let us know, that is not what you need to do. There are certain things I've wanted to do business-wise for years where every time I get quiet, the Lord's like, "Don't do it." And it's so upsetting, but I know it's Him because it's not me telling me not to do it. So,
Oh
you
gosh.
figure it out. But again, now technology, I have a friend who does social media for people and she edits people's writing, does all that stuff. She lives in Texas. She has a great business. She doesn't even have a website. She just talks about it on Facebook and people hear about her work. One person hired her, another person hired her, another person hired her. She's doing great. So don't let technology hold you back. If, for instance, you're a math teacher, you can teach people's kids math. Talk about it on Facebook. Your friends are going to tell friends. You start telling everybody you know, this is what I do. This is the service I'm offering. Here's the thing. It's not the time to try to start selling physical products that people don't want, if you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
But when you say, this is what I can do, here's how I can help people, here's what it looks like, people don't get mad. It's different than being one of those people on social media that's pushy, offering stuff that people don't want. So I think there needs to be a change in the mindset there. But don't let technology stop you. You talk about it on social media. You talk about how you can help people. Talk about how you want to help people. Let those clients start coming in. And then before you know it, you'll have money in the bank, pay some bills, get that website done. But go ahead and start before the website's done. Go ahead and start before you feel like you're ready. Go ahead and start before you totally know what you're doing. Just get started. Because getting started is the hardest part.
I will tell you that one of the things that has been super helpful to me, I've heard this verse before many times, but I had Nicole Walters on my podcast.
I love her.
Let's see, was it 2017? I think it was 2017. It's probably time to have her on again because she's a spitfire. But she used this verse, and I'm going to read it because it helps me, y'all. Because listen, I hate selling. I hate selling me. I hate selling stuff. I'm whatever Allie is saying about, you want to have it perfect before you do it. I look at everybody else and I'm like, oh, look at her online class, or look at her, thing. Like even while we're talking, I'm sitting here going, oh wait, I didn't put my web address under my name, and I'm sitting here playing with it, and I'm like, oh, Chrystal, you suck. So like, this is how it is. But it says, each of you, this is 1 Peter 4:10, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others, as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. This is what helps me to charge people for what I would for what I would happily do for free. In fact, often, and Allie can attest to this, I give away way too much. That's what my business friends tell me. Because I want to help. But the idea is that if I'm serving people, then I'm not selling to people. If I'm charging for something that is a gift God has given me and it's helpful, not only to them, because yes, I would give it away for free, but to me, like that's me being a good steward of my gifts and being able to support my family. I mean,
Okay, Chrystal, can I jump in
yeah,
real quick?
yeah.
Nobody, this, nobody gets upset at attorneys for doctors for being like,
Who charge a boatload of money.
why are you charging for this? That's the gift God has given them to do it. But think about everything you're doing for free. I mean, I put out a weekly podcast. I'm always out there encouraging. It's all for free. It's
Yeah.
all for free.
Yeah.
But we, again, this is a female thing. We feel like we should be serving for free 100%. And then if there's a little bit back here that, okay, this actually has a fee because guess what? My kids need to eat.
Yeah.
I got kids with appetites. We feel guilty about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, it's the only business model. It's the only career where we wring our hands going, everything really should be free.
And I think right now, the scenario for a lot of us is just that. I would love to go and do this for free, but actually because Corona happened and I lost my job or I worked less or, whatever happened, or, there was sickness and the hospital bills racked up, like whatever it is, that gives you sometimes the chutzpah to say, you know what, this is the time and this is what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to apologize for it. Yes, because I want to serve from a biblical perspective, use your gifts, but then also God has given us our gifts, like the talent story in the Bible, to multiply. It doesn't mean that you have to charge if you're not so led, but if you need to, you want to, then it's okay. It's okay to do that. Okay, so what about, because when you think about what you need to do, let's say for the person who doesn't have a passion that they can, or it's something that they've cultivated. So they get online and they Google how to make money online. And then
that's a dangerous Google.
Right. So when they go, oh, wait. Okay, I'm trying to get started. Do you have even thoughts of, I hate to even say it because then everybody's going to run to it and it may not be their thing. But for the person who wants to get going and wants to think critically about what's useful right now.
Yeah.
Or has 20 things that they could do, but they're like trying to narrow it down.
I don't have a magic wand answer, but it's important to
part.
go, where are people right now? What are people's needs? What can I do to meet those needs? Just real practical. It's about meeting needs right now. What do I know I can serve well with?
Yeah.
One thing that's going crazy online is all these color-coded charts of people organizing their children's day.
Listen.
As a mother of 5 boys, I think those are cute, but it doesn't work here. If I put those up on the fridge, my boys would be like, no.
They'd be like, nice try, Mom.
Maybe you're super organized and you can develop worksheets to help women who are stuck at home balancing work or not working, but having all these kids around them. Maybe you can sell for, $3, $5 worksheets and you start selling them like crazy. Put them on Etsy, put them up for sale on places where people are already looking and shopping. That would be a great thing. Just take a look, pray about it. And what are people's needs? What needs can I meet? That's the best business model right now.
And I will tell you that I don't want you to be stuck at what you can't do. Let me give you an example. I am not a graphic designer. I want to be, like with the deepest part of me, I want to be. Every now and then I'll get on YouTube and watch a tutorial on Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator or InDesign. I play around in Canva. Canva's really easy because when you're going to put things out there, there has to be some visual representation of the thing. There are so many people who are good at that. Don't let what you're not good at stop you from doing it. And there are people all over the world right now that need to make money from home. And so you get on places like Upwork or Fiverr or 99 Designs and you find people who this is what they do and they need the work for what they do. just as much as you need the work for what you do. So don't let the fact that you can't create the graphic or create the video or even write the copy or do the bookkeeping, don't let those things stop you. Just get started, because there are things, if you look back on my blog, 3 years, posts that are 3 years old, you will see what my graphics look like. You will see what I was trying to do. Yeah, I was trying to do it. And then, and then the reality is 3 years later, I am able to say to some people, sometimes it's an intern, sometimes I'm giving them the opportunity, but that I had to start somewhere. And then y'all, whatever you need to learn, you can learn pretty much anything on the internet for free. My boys came to me. I said, you're going to have to be productive with your time. And they got their video made because they wanted to start a YouTube channel. And I said, you have to edit the picture in picture. Like, that's what means that this is a project I approve of. And my son said to me, and they know not to say this, but I don't know how to do that. And I said, get on YouTube and figure it out. I mean, there is nothing that you cannot learn with a little bit of time. There's no reason you shouldn't get started. And once you get started, without perfection as the model, once you get to the point where you can perfect it or make it better or improve it, somebody else can help you with that. A friend.
And it's not expensive. On Fiverr, it's $5.
It's $5. And listen, everybody's trying to do their thing, and you can barter services. Everybody needs to help each other right now. And maybe a friend that's trying to develop their graphic design business does some work for you for free, for you telling other people about their graphic design business. Like, be creative and don't get stuck with what you don't know how to do. Tell them what you actually do now. Like, you started, but now what is your bread and butter, and some of maybe a couple of other things that you've done recently, just to give them an idea of what you've launched into.
Yeah, so my first business was an events business. Side note, not a good time to start an events business right now. But out of the events business right now, 80% of my work comes from coaching. So I'm on calls with people all day long, business owners, from startup owners to attorneys and physicians who own practices, and just a varied group of people. And then I'm an author and a speaker. That's where we met, at a speaking event. I've written 3 books: Breaking Busy, Fierce Faith, and The Year of Living Happy. And I have a book called Standing Strong. And I also am co-founder of a coaching community called Creatives, for women who feel called to write and speak.
Well, let me say this. As we have resources because I don't know everything, but I know people who know a lot of things. So as we have resources, we are sharing that information, y'all, on the email list. If you are not on my email list, make sure you're on it, simply because I want to, there's so many things that we could talk about. But like Allie, you've got a course that's coming out soon about this very thing, like how to identify your passion and how to use that in order to propel you into the next season of life. I have a speaking,
and how to make sure it works.
I have a speaking and writing course. I have a how do you even discover your gifts. Like, that's she and I. There are other people that have things. And so I want to make sure that you're on the mailing list, so that when we share these things as options for you to use going forward, because, we can't get into all the specifics for everybody today, but that you're aware of them. So if you don't do anything else after this, make sure that you're on the email list. There is one question that a woman asked, and we talked about this before we got on, and she says, listen, I've been at home with my kids. And the biggest thing for me right now is time, because now they're home and I do need to get going and I do need to get started. Speak to the woman who's at home, working or not, but is doubling down because the kids are at home. How does she find the time? How do any of us find the time when life gets back to normal to cultivate our calling and to cultivate our gifts and to move things forward? Really
practical. This is how I built it when I was younger and I was building everything, because we definitely didn't have any money for sitters. I would wake up early in the morning or stay up late at night, one of the two.
Mm-hmm. Or both.
You know what? Here's the thing. TV's a great babysitter sometime. If your kids are old enough to sit in front of a movie, put on a movie, give them a bowl of popcorn, give them their juice boxes, whatever it is, say, Mommy's going to go do this for an hour, and then just go do it. You're not a bad mom.
You're not a bad mom.
On the TV for a little bit. My kids grew up in front of TV. And it's real. They're just fine. They make A's. It's fine. I got no shame in my game.
No guilt.
So don't feel about it. You got to do what you got to do right now.
That is so awesome. It
Every
is so
moment
awesome.
doesn't have to be magical.
If you don't get anything else from that right there, every moment does not have to be magical. Do what you have to do. No guilt. No guilt. Allie,
100%.
thank you so much. This was gold. And y'all listen, Allie charges a lot of money to do this for people. So she is giving away her love, her service, and her care for you all with us today. Thank you so much for joining me, girl.
Bye-bye.
Okay.